Hey guys, just finished watching Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3, Episode 18, The Good, the Bad, and the Cuddly. This episode was really interesting. I mean, it was the season final for this season. Season 3 is over. So first off, we start off with Malice is alive, obviously from the cliffhanger from last week's episode. Then Gideon tells Rip, she will miss him when he goes. Rip ends up sacrificing himself so the Legends can get away. And then we get, the sacrifice for Rip, it was an interesting idea. It was really kind of, it was interesting to see that right away. They could have built it up a little bit better in the episode, but it was well done for what it was. And it was really quite interesting to see the way they do. And then the rest of the Legends end up leaving to go hide in 1874 with Jonah Hex. They end up finding him. Ray ends up taking off with Damien Dark to go save Nora Dark. And then they decide to use the totems, all the 6 totems together to make one giant super robot, as Deadpool would say. Jack and then Ava ends up going to get Jack and all kinds of other people. So we see Jefferson Jack is back. We get Ray and Damien go back in time to stop Nora by going back to where they already went, and that's why Ray ends up hit Nate, knock Nate out before he took off, and didn't tell anyone because they're going back in time to go somewhere where they've already were type thing. And then Malice ends up leaving and leaves Nora's body for Damien's body, and ends up taking over Damien Dark's body, and Nora is alive. Jax, we find out that Jax has a wife and daughter, so that he's probably not going to be joining. Even at the end of this episode, he's done really. He helps out a little bit, and then he kind of takes off. He's not really in this episode. He's in it a bit in this episode, but that's it. He's just in this episode. That's it. He's done. He's probably not going to be back for season 4. We might see a cameo here and there, but he's not back for a full time or anything like that. So that was interesting with his character. It's going to be cool to see where that goes. It would be cool to see him, around. Maybe have him join back for the big crossover episode or something next season. That could be a cool idea at that point. It would be fun to see that. But at this point, it could be cool to see where things are going with this character. Because if I'm not mistaken, what's interesting and it's something that they need to touch upon if that's going to happen to Jefferson or something, was the whole reason why Jefferson and Martin ended up bonding and becoming Firestorm was because if we go back to the season 2 of The Flash, when we had Ronnie Raymond played by Robbie Amell, when they were together, they had to be him and the two had to bond as Firestorm to stay alive, otherwise they would kill them. It was killing each other. And when Ronnie Raymond ended up dying in the end of season 1 of The Flash, going into season 2, they needed to find another person who could bond with Martin Stein to be able to keep him from dying and stuff. He needs they need to bond to be able to stay intact, otherwise he gets overheated and his starts kind of falling apart type thing. So that's going to be cool to see if we get anything of that. I guess there's I guess it was only on Martin Stein's side, and Jefferson is okay with that and he's fine being separated. Although he did from what I remember forgetting is that there was that serum that they took together that kind of separated the two, so I guess he's okay. He doesn't need to be a Firestorm anymore. Which is disappointing, but it's different to have new characters, especially if it's unclear whether or not we'll see Kid Flash becoming a season regular, but we do get another season regular in Constantine by the end of this episode. So, Jax, we find out Jax has a wife and daughter. That's pretty cool. So he's not going to be staking around. Maybe he'll help out here and there just like this for an episode here, 1 or 2. But really, he's kind of done with the Legends for now. And then they all get it together with, you got Sarah, Rory, Amaya, Zari, and what's his face? So we get Kid Flash and Nate. They all use their totems together to fight and transform into Bebo to fight Malice as he calls himself in this episode. So that's a really interesting idea. Although the whole Bebo idea, I don't know. I just really don't care for this Bebo. I could have thought of other ideas that they could have used. I mean, I think the idea of Bebo is yeah, it's a funny idea, it's okay, but it's just there. Since this is Warner Brothers owns this show, they could have found something within the Warner Brothers library that would have been way more cool to bring that something a more iconic thing out there. And they could have done Scooby Doo. They could have done a giant version of Scooby Doo because Warner Brothers owns the rights to that. So it's definitely going to be cool to see where things go with this and how kind of things could have turned on. They could have choose all kinds of different characters, anyone. I mean, I was thinking the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. I'm not sure, I forget which studio owned that movie, but things like that would have been really cool. Would have been more iconic to use rather than Bebo, because he was just kind of like a silly thing. It just would have been cool if they wanted to go silly. You could use like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or different characters like that. But there has to be someone in the library of films that Warner Brother owns that they own the rights to. They could have just picked on, or someone else from the DC Comics universe would have been cool to see that too. Someone they could have picked up, so it could have been interesting to see. But so there was just I would have picked something else other than Bebo because that was kind of silly. So then they defeat Mollis, and Maya goes back to Zambezi and leaves Nate, and Nate's about to mind wipe her, and she decides not to. She wants to remember him, which is interesting because when they went to the future or to the future with older Maya to save Kawasa and stuff, they find out that or not the future, yeah, when they go to like the 1992 thing before the death of older Maya, she doesn't remember him. So I guess she's kind of breaking time back to the way it was where she would remember him, type thing. So that's going to be interesting to see how that affects time, how is it going to affect time going forward. And then the rest of them are in Aruba when Constantine shows up and tells them that by letting Mollis out, they let out more than other demons. So I like this idea now. It looks like hopefully going into season 4, since we do know it's been confirmed already, it looks like we'll be having Constantine, who has been jumped up to a season regular, and so has Ava Sharp been jumped up to a season regular. So I think that's really going to be cool to see that, and I can't wait to see hopefully Constantine actually becomes a Legends member, and him becoming a season regular. Hopefully it's more than just having him in every second episode. I'd love to see him in every single episode and not miss an episode without him. I think having him join and becoming an actual Legend would be a really cool idea, taking over as since Rip is gone, he could take over as the British leader, and I think that could be a cool idea. He could be the new trench coat wearing guy type thing, and I think that could be really fun to see him, especially with all his knowledge, and they need someone to look to and stuff. They don't have Rip anymore, and I think he could definitely be the person to do that, and I think it would be cool to do that, and having him jumping on and leaving the Time Bureau to doing all the anachronism and all that stuff, and I think having him playing around with different demons throughout time, but they still have to go jump. Obviously, as Legend of Tomorrow, they're going to be still always going to be going through time, but not necessarily kind of fixing time anymore. They're just going to be doing different stuff with demons and stuff. Maybe going to different time zones where demons are taking over, and I think that could be really cool, playing with that and dealing with that with Constantine. And they could be really cool doing that. And I'm fingers crossed. I'm hoping that someone like Constantine's obviously staying on as a season regular, but it would also be cool to see Wally West, Kid Flash stay on as season regular. I think that could be really cool. It would be a lot more fun to see having him on here because he's so much fun on here. And it's really cool having the bigger gun on here, because even if he goes back to the Flash, which I think he is because he hasn't been confirmed for returning. I think he has been confirmed to return to the Flash. Not quite sure about that though, but having him return to the Flash is okay. But having him leave this show means that the biggest gun that they have was going to be Constantine, and outside of that, with Constantine being the biggest gun they have, I don't know, I feel like they need another big gun rather than just one big gun, really, because after that, the biggest gun they have is Heatwave and maybe Atom type thing when it comes to powers and using powers. I mean, yeah, you got Sarah and her fighting and stuff like that, but that's doesn't do anything to someone like Damien Dark, who has powers or is a giant creature and stuff. And hopefully with next season, Mullis in this episode for the CGI, It was interesting. The CGI was a little wonky on Mollis. It looked okay. It just was obvious that it was clearly CGI, and it just didn't fit in to there. I've just seen other CGI that just looks a lot more realistic and blends into the thing. And oh my god, that looks real, like he's really there. Obviously, there's no way of making this giant demon creature look super realistic because it's always going to be CGI. But I don't know, they could have just put a little bit more time into this. And one of the things I've been noticing with The Legend of Tomorrow, they saw posts online of people saying how there's more and more episodes adding to Legend of Tomorrow, which I don't mind that. But if it's going to take away from the episode, if it's going to be the same budget as you had in the first season when there was only 13 episodes or only 10 episodes, I'd rather have a 10-episode season with more budget per episode than 30 episodes with only little budget per episode type thing. So we're gonna have to wait and see where things go for season 4. But because there's so many different DC TV shows and there's so many different shows, I wouldn't mind a show like Legend of Tomorrow having a little bit of a shorter episode count type thing, so that the CGI could be a little bit more heavy per episode. That would be really cool to see that, and I would hope that they could do that. But at the same time, it's really going to be cool to see all the different things going into season 2. So on the whole, this episode was interesting. It was not the best season ending, not the best cliffhanger. But it does get me excited with going in a completely new direction with Constantine and going into the more Constantine level, demons and magic and having more characters like that. I think that's really going to be cool. And I'm fingers crossed for them bringing in the Helmet of Naboo, Dr. Fate, into this for next season, because that's really hoping that they use that, since, like I've been saying throughout all my reviews with Constantine, is that in his episode, season 1 of Constantine, there is the Helmet of Naboo is shown in the episode in that magic house that he has, but yet none of it's unclear whether or not some of the stuff that happened in his show connect to this. They don't really reference it too much. We haven't even seen a single character of his from his show on here. There's little references here and there to some of his characters, but nothing really kind of connecting here. And if I'm even the cartoon, it's on CWC, which I've only saw the first 5 episodes. They actually use the same character from the show, but with a different actor, voice cast, and they talk about things that don't line up with the show. So it's unclear whether or not this version of Constantine on Legend of Tomorrow is the same. The things that on his own show actually happened. Does he actually have access to the Helmet of Naboo or not? That would be something to play with. It would be something really cool to jump in. And also with him, it would also be cool to see a Zatanna cameo, at least on an episode of next season. So all in all, it could be really cool to see this, and I like the idea of it going in a completely new direction for the show, for the Arrowverse, and even you bringing this for the crossover and bringing it into a magic episode. I think that could be really fun to see that and see where things go. It could be quite interesting to set some sort of magic thing up. Maybe you set the crossover up next season over on Arrow or something, where they find out about the crossover and they're like, damn, it's going to be a magic crossover, and then Oliver calls up Constantine, and he goes, and Constantine's like, yeah, I'm with the Legend of Tomorrow. Although he doesn't have a cell phone on Legend of Tomorrow, but he had a cell phone when Oliver called him back on Arrow to revive Sarah. So maybe that phone comes back. It's a magical phone that he only answers when he wants to. That would make sense actually for Constantine. So it could be cool to doing that and having a magic themed crossover next season. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. What do you think about it? What are you excited for season 4? And what are you excited for between the relationship between Ava and Lance? And would you like to see Wally West stay on Legends or to go back to Flash? Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.